because I was in a hurry to rush to the cafeteria for food at noon. When I was riding an electric bike, I crashed into a stone pier by the roadside. When I opened my eyes again and woke up, there was an unfamiliar man in the ward. He had superior brow bones, broad shoulders, and a narrow waist, and his facial features were clean cut. His dark eyes that fell on me were both restrained and focused. My mind wasn't fully awake yet. The good-looking man right in front of me had me dizzy. I searched my mind. No, there was no memory of this person. I moistened my lips and nervously asked, "Hello, may I ask who you are?" Hearing this, the handsome man on the sofa was first stunned, then frowned and looked serious. "You forgot who I am?" Judging from his tone, it seemed that we knew each other. I thought carefully. Finally, I apologized and said, "Sorry, I seem to have lost my memory." Hearing this, the man was silent for a long time. After a while, he looked up and said word by word seriously, "I'm your roommate, Lucas. Oh, I suddenly understood. So he's my roommate. Before I could say another word, I saw Lucas continue, "I'm also your boyfriend." I nodded. "He's also my boyfriend." "Wait, my boyfriend?" I widened my eyes in disbelief. "Am I gay?" "No, I'm a straight man." "Dude, are you mistaken?" Seeing this, Lucas stiffened for a moment, his eyes immediately dimmed, and then he gave a self-deprecating smile. "Sure enough, you've forgotten me, right? I've long heard that men are not good things. They won't cherish you after they've chased you. I didn't expect you to be the same." "Forget it." As Lucas spoke, his eyes were slightly red. "Since you want to end this relationship, I'll grant your wish." After saying that, he pretended to get up, looking like a heart-broken person who had been dumped by a playboy and was about to leave far away. Although I still haven't figured out what exactly happened. But I've always been an impatient person. I can't rest until I get to the bottom of things. Coupled with the sight of this beautiful man shedding tears, how could I just stand by and watch? So I didn't care about the hand that was still getting in for drip. I quickly threw off the quilt and got out of bed. "Wait, don't go. Lucas, don't leave. We're roommates, good brothers. Tell me what's going on before you leave." When Lucas stopped in his tracks and turned around, it was as if he had heard something unbelievable. Lucas raised his voice, "Andrew, you pestered me back then. You stole my underwear and wrote me perverted little notes. When you said you liked me, you never said you only regarded me as a buddy. I let you kiss and hug me, but in the end, I'm just a buddy?" No. This series of shocking words made me suddenly stunned. So I was so bold. Seeing that the person still wanted to leave, I was extremely anxious, as if a cooked duck was about to fly away. So I immediately grabbed Lucas' hanging right hand. Regardless of anything, I rushed forward and kissed the person in front of me on the face. I'm going all out. 1 second before our skin touched, the man seemed to casually turn his head slightly. There was a very loud sound in the silent air. 2 lips met so moistly. Before I could react, I was attracted by the touch on my lips. The lips at 37 degrees Celsius tasted soft. It was like eating delicious jelly. The next second, Lucas pulled me over, his big hand firmly holding the back of my head as he took the initiative. It was like an oasis in the desert being wantonly claimed by a long, thirsty traveler. It was not until I was so weak in the knees from the kiss that I was finally let go. Lucas was breathing heavily, his eyes slightly squinted. He pressed his forehead against mine, his burning eyes lingering on my swollen lips from the kiss. After a long time, he let out a soft chuckle from his throat. "I'll forgive you this time. Let's go home, boyfriend." I was dazedly led into the car. I was still in a daze. What? We just kissed? Standing in the cold wind, I touched my slightly numb lips. I was at a loss in my confusion. When I saw the empty dormitory, a sense of unease instantly welled up in my heart. "Come here." Lucas took off his top, revealing his well-defined 8-pack abs. I stared at them with my eyes almost popping out. But I still firmly grasped my own pants and held my ground. "No, you. What are you doing?" Lucas hooked the corner of his mouth. As he said that, he didn't hesitate to drag me into the bathroom. The hot water from the overhead shower suddenly gushed out, wetting the skin of the two of us pressed against each other. Seeing my stupid look, Lucas sighed and smiled, naturally and indulgently stroking my hair. "What are you thinking about? I'm giving you a bath. Didn't you say you felt uncomfortable just now?" I glanced at the unmoving gray sweatpants under him. I couldn't tell if it was disappointment or something else. "Oh, okay, then let's take a bath." After being comfortably served to wash my hair and enjoying the after-sales hair drying service, I was just about to ask Lucas what was going on. Suddenly, 2 roommates who had just finished class pushed the door open and came in. Seeing this, Lucas lowered his eyelids, pursed his lips, and went back to his seat as if to avoid suspicion. The carefree roommates didn't notice anything unusual either. After greeting me as usual, they started playing games on their own. I secretly peeked at Lucas, who was reading a book. His side profile had smooth lines and a prominent Adam's apple. His slender hands turned a page of the book and he exuded an aloof and unapproachable air all over. To be honest, if I didn't know that Lucas was my boyfriend. A god like him who could only be admired from afar and not defiled. Who knows, one day he might treat me like an ant. I definitely wouldn't dare to get close to him. Maybe I wouldn't even dare to say a few more words. I rubbed my slightly scraped arm and unconsciously stared blankly at someone. The phone on the table suddenly vibrated twice with a buzz. It was a message from Lucas. Stop looking at me. You said our relationship can't be known to outsiders. Although we agreed to have a secret relationship, if you keep looking at me, I may not be able to resist. I was at a loss for words. I didn't expect myself to actually have a bit of the charm of a heartbreaker. First, I lost my memory and forgot Lucas, who was presumably my boyfriend. Then, I got involved in an underground romance with him. After sending this message, Lucas silently turned his head and glanced at me. Then there was no more movement. I wanted to ask about the details of our relationship, but I didn't know where to start. When did we get together? Why did we get together? Obviously, Lucas was hurt by my previous actions. His back looked like that of a wronged young wife. So I had to give it up. However, this matter was like a thorn buried in my heart. It would poke me from time to time. By the way, the doctor advised me to look at my old things more often. I rummaged around everywhere. I casually picked up a notebook on the table. It was an ordinary yellow notebook. It records the owner's insights and experiences according to the dates. Today in class, I found him drawing in his notebook. He was so cute that I wanted to kiss him. Today when he took a shower, he didn't wear an upper body garment. He was so handsome. Today he lost a pair of underwear and was very angry because he had already lost 2 pairs of underwear before that. I really wanted to comfort him. But I couldn't. Because I stole his underwear. Hee hee. Today he threw half-drunk water into the trash can. It was so wasteful. I picked it up and drank it. The water was so sweet. I wonder if he is the same. I don't want to wait any longer. Today I saw him again in the cafeteria. There was a curly-haired boy beside him. How annoying. Why doesn't he understand me? He said he is straight. I don't believe it. He is so stubborn. I have to make him change his mind. The eyeball trembled for a moment. I leaned to one side and bent my wrist to block the outside view. The straightforward and vulgar words hide a bit of perverted stubbornness. It makes people can't help but wonder how dark and crazy the owner of this notebook is. Like a perverted stalker. Even a bone casually discarded by the owner can make him drool with greed. It's just this handwriting. This familiar, crooked handwriting makes up for this shortcoming well. On the surface, I calmly closed the notebook and put it back in place. Actually, under the table, I was almost digging a hole in the floor with my feet. No. Andrew, are you into such perverted stuff? Stealing someone's underwear? It's okay to have a secret crush. But you even keep a diary? My mouth twitched and I was really unsettled by these words. When I accidentally met Lucas' hesitant eyes, I felt extremely ashamed. No wonder. Lucas looked so strange after he learned that I lost my memory in the hospital. So it turns out I'm a pervert. I covered my face and sighed. I always felt that I was really inhumane. So, after the lights were turned off at night, when the tall and big Lucas silently got into my quilt and wanted to sleep with me, I didn't refuse. After all, it was me who turned him gay in the first place. Now this guy has me in his heart and eyes. I can't just abandon him, right? I'm not that kind of person. After listening to my explanation, Lucas gave a soft laugh. He leaned close to my neck and bent down to take a bite. His teeth held my skin and his breath sprayed on my collarbone. It didn't hurt, just tickled. Lucas looked up at me from below. His eyes were moist. You used to kiss me before going to sleep. Now, won't you kiss me anymore? Why haven't you been close to me since you came back from the hospital? Did I do something wrong? I was stared at until my mouth went dry. Although I can't remember if I was so clingy before, but I still blushed with my ears red. I held the person in front of me by the head and kissed him several times, making smooching sounds. Lucas still wasn't satisfied. He leaned over and blocked my breath. His fierce look was as if he wanted to break my bones and swallow me whole. A faint sense of unease flashed through my mind. But the next second, all my attention was disrupted by Lucas reaching under my clothes. No way? Did we really go this far before? The bedboard shook a few times and then returned to calm. I gasped and poked my head out. Then I was grabbed by the ankle and pulled back. No, why is it still going on? The corner of my mouth was bitten through. I quickly lowered my voice and pleaded with the person behind me. No more, no more. My mouth hurts. Look, you've made it bleed. Lucas swallowed hard, and I wonder what he was thinking. The look in his eyes when he looked at me was even darker than before. If it weren't for the noise made by my roommate turning over accidentally, which reminded Lucas, I'm afraid I would have been rubbed raw by him. Seeing that my small frame really couldn't withstand his fierce onslaught, Lucas finally kind-heartedly let me go. On the small single bed, me and Lucas, two men over 1.8 meters tall, are crowded together. Lucas' hands are quietly placed under the quilt. He doesn't cross the line at all. On the contrary, I'm so stiff all over. Although this is the first time I've slept with my boyfriend since I lost my memory. But Lucas seems to take it very casually. It should be that we're used to sleeping like this before. By the way, both Lucas and I are 20-year-old male college students. With such a strong attraction between us, it's common for things to get out of control. Have we slept together? As soon as this thought comes up, it immediately makes me blush to the roots of my hair. Sensing something, Lucas gently places his fingers on my waist and pinches it. We haven't slept together. I try to cover it up, stammering and dodging his hand. What do you mean by sleeping together? Such vulgar words. Go to sleep. I pretend to be angry. I repeatedly warn myself. Lucas doesn't know how hard I've been trying not to touch him, how much self-restraint it takes for me. Early the next morning, while the person behind me was still sleeping, I quietly climbed down the ladder, went to the bathroom to destroy the evidence. Darn it, I didn't even know I was so easily tempted. Add some soap bubbles to the underwear in my hand. I rubbed it until it made a rustling sound. Wait, is this pair of underwear mine? It's not that I'm overly perceptive, nor am I overly smart. It's simply because this pair of underwear is too new. Since the start of school, I haven't bought any new underwear. Those old pairs are almost in a tattered state. The underwear in my hand is made of smooth fabric and has no wrinkles. I can't even find a single hole. So, this must not be my underwear. Then whose is it? A huge sense of absurdity and surprise swept over me. I closed my eyes, endured the disgust, and leaned closer to carefully observe the pattern on it. It was the logo of CK. Suddenly, the always closed bathroom door was pushed open, a small crack from the outside. All of a sudden, I remembered this afternoon when Lucas helped me rinse my hair. The small section of his slender waist that was exposed when he bent down. What he was wearing seemed to be this brand. At the same time, the person outside the door spoke at the right moment. Baby, can you open the door? Only then did I realize my lower body was bare. In order not to make any sound as much as possible, I originally planned to put on my lower body clothes after dawn. The night wind was howling and the cross breeze passed between my legs. My legs, which had lost their sense of security, immediately pressed together. I suppressed the shame welling up in my heart and shouted at Lucas outside the door, "Wait, don't come in. I'm not wearing underwear." I thought this would make Lucas back off. Who would have thought that he only stayed quiet for a second? He got even more excited. He pushed the door open in one smooth motion. It showed a bit of eagerness. It's a pity. He is fast. I'm one step faster. As early as 1 second before Lucas stepped through the door, I quickly turned off the toilet light. Everything around was dim, bathed in the faint morning light filtering through the window. In the darkness, Lucas was like a starving wolf. His eyes glowed with a deep, eerie green light. His Adam's apple bobbed rapidly, revealing his restlessness. Andrew. Lucas accurately found my position. His hands were like iron claws, firmly gripping me so I couldn't break free. A scream got stuck in my throat. In a hurry, I also grabbed his forearm with my backhand. I was afraid that Lucas would make an inappropriate move. Don't be afraid. Perhaps sensing my embarrassment and unease, Lucas quickly and quietly comforted me. I know you're not wearing any. This is my underwear. Lucas paused and then explained, it's new and never been worn. If you're in a hurry, you can wear it first. Just then, there was the sound of my roommate getting up outside. I was so ashamed that I could hardly stand. But still, I swallowed hard and took the thin piece of cloth. There was a snap. The elastic waistband clings tightly to the skin. Lucas chuckles softly. The previous gloom has vanished completely. He reaches out and snatches my dirty clothes. All right, go to sleep. I'll wash them for you. My face is as red as a cooked shrimp, completely flushed from the inside out. Lucas isn't in a hurry and whispers seductively, if you don't get back to bed, they'll get suspicious. I understand what he means. The fact that Lucas and I are in a relationship hasn't been made public yet. A single man and another single man are in the same room. One of them is even half naked. If we're caught, we won't be able to explain it even with 10 mouths. Before leaving, I grab Lucas's sleeve and stammer with my lips trembling, "Don't tell anyone about what happened today." Lucas is calm and composed. Hearing this, he just softly replies, "MMM." He looks so nonchalant. I blush with anxiety and say, "Did you hear me? Don't tell anyone. Please, please." Finally, I suddenly close my eyes and squeak, "Please, husband." After enjoying my embarrassment enough, Lucas lets out a laugh from the depths of his throat. MMM got it. Whether Lucas is really my boyfriend or not, from today on, he has to be my boyfriend. After going out, I immediately scramble onto my own bed. Fortunately, the other two roommates are both nearsighted. Once the glasses are taken off, beyond 10 meters, one can't distinguish between humans and animals. I nervously patted my own chest. The quality of the underwear on my body is very good. It doesn't pill at all. The fabric is comfortable and the size is standard. Sure enough, the old saying is right. You get what you pay for. Outside the bed curtain, Lucas calmly took the freshly washed clothes out to dry with a calm face. One of the roommates, Leo, held back his laughter and joked, "Lucas, washing your pants so early in the morning. You've got quite a temper." Lucas responded with a faint smile and didn't make any more comments. I blushed when I heard that. It's over. It's really impossible to explain this now. Fortunately, Lucas didn't pursue this matter afterwards. Facing my evasive eyes, he just gave a calm smile, like a considerate wife protecting her husband's precarious dignity. During this period, on the surface, Lucas and I are just ordinary friends. We keep to our own business and our friendship is as light as water. In fact, we've almost kissed each other's lips raw in private. Whether it's in a secluded grove, or the empty classroom, even an ordinary corner, all became the places where Lucas sought excitement. Fortunately, the school sports meeting is coming up next. Lucas has been busy dealing with the students from the publicity department and the sports and culture department recently. I can finally take a break. If it goes on like this, I'm really afraid that I won't be able to control myself. One day, after completing the daily schedule of 3 kisses, Lucas gasped, his voice hoarse, "By the way, has your friend James contacted you recently? Shall we invite him to dinner? After all, he is your friend. It doesn't matter if we tell him the news that we are together, right?" I was so dazed from the kisses that my head was still spinning. Suddenly reminded by Lucas like this, I instantly sobered up. Right? I almost forgot that I have a childhood friend. I haven't had the chance to tell my buddy the big news that I'm in a relationship. I coughed awkwardly. I sent a message on my phone to invite my childhood friend out for dinner. "Are you there? Come out for dinner." After sending the message without waiting for my childhood friend to reply, I just threw my phone aside. I hugged Lucas and continued to kiss him, with a handsome man in hand, who still has the time to care about friends. James and I have known each other since childhood. Over the years, the connection between our two families has never been broken. In order to prevent James from having puppy love mom song, shaved his head to a crew cut from primary school to high school. A thin layer of hair clung to his scalp. Since he entered college, James did the opposite. Some time ago, he even stylishly permed his hair into curls. So when he sent a message on LINE, "I forgot to ask you, what happened to that pervert who always stole your underwear?" So I took the opportunity. "You mean him? We're together." After a long time. It seemed like he took a big breath on the other side, "So I'm just a part of your PLI, right?" I secretly laughed and typed excitedly, "Dude, what I'm after is just a thrill." James immediately called, "Andrew, you're really full and have nothing better to do. Brother is heart to heart with you. But you treat your brother as a form of fun. I even believed your nonsense some time ago. If one day you're locked in bed by that pervert and can't get up, don't call your brother." James ranted on and on. But from this conversation, I only later realized that something was wrong. So I quickly stopped this bickering. "No, what did I say some time ago? Why are you so excited?" James retorted irritably, "What else could you say? You said your underwear always went missing and you suspected someone was up to something. Take your brother's advice. In box 666 at Huada, I'll kill you tomorrow." After saying that, he hung up the phone neatly. I was in a daze for a moment. Suddenly, I slapped myself on the forehead. I remembered. 2 months ago, the underwear I hung on the balcony always disappeared without a trace. At first, I still thought, this shouldn't be happening. Stealing money is one thing. What's the point of stealing someone's underwear? It wasn't until one day when I was walking on the street that I started to feel a strange sensation of being stared at. That's when I began to have a vague feeling that something was off. But every time I suddenly turned around, I didn't see anyone strange. Instead, my jumpy behavior attracted several looks from passers-by. Could it be that I've become so perverted that I've developed a split personality? I suppressed my doubts. When it was time, I went to the appointment with my beloved husband. We had hot pot. James had ordered my favorite dishes early in the morning. Lucas provided attentive service throughout the meal, and I enjoyed it to the fullest. James was so spicy that his mouth was watering, and yet he still didn't forget to gossip. You too. Is there something going on? I was drinking juice at the time, and I was startled by this kid's lewd winking and nearly choked. Lucas was sitting next to me, lowering his head and obediently wiping my mouth. The hot pot was steaming. It made my face feel hot too. I'm easily embarrassed. I half-heartedly admitted it. Lucas looked at me deeply, then leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Baby, I'm going to the restroom first. You can eat with your friend first." I blushed, and the magnetic word baby sent a tingle through my scalp. After the person left, James, who had been smiling, immediately frowned. "The person is gone, stop staring. If you keep looking, your eyeballs will fall out." As he said this, he suddenly threw down his chopsticks and frowned. "Andrew, listen to your buddy. This guy doesn't look like a good person at first glance. I suspect he's the one who caused you trouble recently. It's better for both of you to break up earlier." I scoffed and said, "Evidence?" James was at a loss for words. He rolled his eyes and said, "The way he looks at you. It's like the way I look at this plate of pig brains." I quickly interrupted him. "What a lousy analogy. Are you calling me a pig?" James was frustrated and said, "Who said you're a pig?" "Andrew, we've been good buddies since childhood. Don't you even know that? I love pig brain flowers the most." While James was indignant and began to rhapsodize about the perfect taste of pig brain flowers, I took a sip of plum juice but was thinking about something else. James? He doesn't seem normal at first glance. Me? I don't look like an ordinary person either. Why does the aloof Lucas fall in love with me? Also, what exactly is the so-called underwear stealing that James mentioned? These doubts lingered in my mind for a long time. Finally, after a sumptuous meal, I lazily lay on the hotel sofa. I tentatively brought up this topic. In the distance, the man who was making the bed suddenly stopped. Under the ambiguous lighting atmosphere of the hotel, Lucas slowly turned around, with a faint, imperceptible sneer on the corner of his lips. His aggressive gaze stared directly at me. "Why do you want to recall the past? Aren't we doing well now? Baby, after coming back from dinner with my good brothers this time, do you want to break up with me again?" He sighed, and self-mockery tinged the desolate look in his eyes. "Right? Baby is excellent and handsome. How can I be worthy of you?" Back then, I was so self-righteous. I didn't respond to Baby's pursuit in time. So, is Baby going to settle scores with me now? I was like a mute. I stood there stupidly for a long time. I could only blurt out one sentence. "Huh." Lucas approached me slowly again and again, using an almost eerie and gentle tone. "Why do you always want to run away? Andrew, am I not good to you?" I couldn't say a word for a long time. The person in front of me was clearly smiling. Yet he seemed like a bloodthirsty llama. My calves were trembling. Cold sweat was streaming down my back. The atmosphere at the moment was a bit off. I had no choice but to dryly shift all the blame onto James. "No, it's actually good not to remember. It's all my childhood friend's fault. There's something wrong with his eyes. He can't stand to see our young couple being affectionate. Don't mind him. Sacrificing a brother for boundless power. Brother, I'm sorry. Perhaps my series of slurs made my boyfriend let down his guard." Looking at Lucas' softened expression, I quietly let out a sigh of relief. I quickly pushed him into the bathroom to take a shower and go to sleep as if to make up for it. The imminent big event in my imagination didn't happen. Instead, there was a tense atmosphere. I remorsefully slapped myself hard in the heart several times. "Let you meddle. Now look what happened." The couple's big bed I specifically asked the front desk to change also didn't come in handy. What a pity. Later in the night, I fell asleep without any defense. I didn't notice. Lucas, who looked sound asleep, slowly opened his eyes. The first day of the school sports meet, with the attitude that a salted fish will still be a salted fish even if it turns over. I didn't sign up for any events. But I can't help it that my boyfriend is the president of the student union. He is so busy every day that he hardly has time to rest. I slept in the dormitory until the afternoon. When I got up, I found that Lucas asked me to bring him a bottle of Yunnan Baiyao. I walked to his desk and rummaged through it casually. I dug out a medicine bottle. The medicine bottle had already been used by someone, so the small note tucked inside fell out with just a gentle touch from me. Senior, I'll wait for you in the back garden of Building 26 at 6 o'clock this afternoon. I hope you can come. It was sincere with delicate handwriting. It was like a bolt from the blue, a thunderclap. What? Are you trying to steal my boyfriend right in front of me? It was the first time I'd encountered such a situation. I was also flustered. Did Lucas see the note? He should have seen it. Then why didn't he say anything? I was extremely anxious, but I still believed in my heart that Lucas didn't seem like someone who would betray me. So I suppressed my trembling hands. I took my phone and went to the place on the note in advance to lie in ambush. Not long after, the sound of footsteps was clearly audible. There came a fierce yet restrained argument from the corner. A woman whose face couldn't be seen had a shrill voice. Lucas, what you're doing is hurting people. Before things get out of hand, it's better for both of you to break up earlier. Lucas spoke calmly in a soft tone. Break up? Why should we break up? The one who isn't loved is the third party. We're in a good relationship now. But you, why are you always haunting us? Now you still want to invite Andrew here. What are you up to? The man questioned loudly, with his infatuation and vulnerability fully revealed on his face. I was stunned. That was a Lucas I'd never seen before. The woman took 2 deep breaths. I'm interfering. Lucas, you're taking advantage of Andrew's amnesia to fabricate your relationship. But you clearly know that the kid doesn't like men. Even if your aunt is begging you, why does it have to be him? Lucas roared angrily. Enough! We're doing fine now and we'll be fine in the future. The arguing voices turned into a ringing in the ears. The bottom of my heart was intertwined with absurdity and heaviness. The lost memories gradually came back, and frames of pictures flashed before my eyes like a carousel. There was a dull pain in the back of my head, as if someone had suddenly struck the fragile nervous system with a hammer. I trembled all over. My eyes went blank, and I slowly fell to the ground. At the end of the memory, all I heard was a familiar and desperate, Andrew. Then I lost consciousness. Lucas is a strange person. At the beginning of the freshman year, he never spoke in the dormitory. He always stayed alone. The hair in front of his forehead covered his eyebrows and eyes, and his bony wrists were hidden under his wide sleeves. His features were cold and unruly. His jaw was thin, and there was an almost gloomy coldness lingering between his eyebrows. I was once very afraid of him. It wasn't just that I was afraid of his gloomy and decadent appearance and his convict-like aura. I was even more afraid of his vague and sticky gaze that landed on me. Fortunately, this state only lasted for 2 weeks. After coming back from the National Day holiday, Lucas seemed to have become a different person. His hair was neatly trimmed, looking clean and refreshing. Only then did I realize that Lucas actually had a very good figure. He had broad shoulders and a narrow waist. The 2 long legs outlined by the fabric of his casual pants were slender and strong. His facial features were amazingly delicate and good-looking. He started going out for dinners with our dormitory mates. The way he looked at me was no different from that of other ordinary classmates. I secretly let out a sigh of relief, thinking that he had finally become normal. Until my underwear always disappeared without a trace, and there were always a lot of disgusting notes in my school bag. Walking on the road in broad daylight, I always felt a chill on my back. It was as if I always lived under someone's surveillance. I became suspicious and lost 3 caddies during that period. Until I saw the casual suggestion from my childhood friend. I finally found my clothes that had been worn beyond recognition. It was just at the corner of Lucas' wardrobe that was exposed. Filled with shock and disbelief, I pushed open Lucas' wardrobe. What came into view were countless photos. The sleeping appearance, the vivid expressions while eating, the pale face during the physical test. All were carefully categorized by date. It was enough to show the deep infatuation of the owner for the person in the photos. If this was a surprise prepared by a couple for each other, I might even praise with a "you've put a lot of effort into this." However, all of this is based on the premise that the person in the photos is not me. Just thinking about the fact that someone has been closely watching my every move, even sharing a room with someone who covets my body. What follows is an overwhelming sense of nausea, panic, and disbelief. When I came to my senses again, I accidentally dropped something because I was in a daze. I collapsed on the way to confront Lucas. When I woke up in the hospital again, the first thing I noticed was the smell of disinfectant filling my nostrils. I stared at the ceiling, blinking my eyes for a long time. Doctors and nurses surrounded me to check my vital signs. There was no one else in the ward. On the day I returned to school, I was told by 2 other roommates that Lucas had dropped out of school. I heard that he didn't even come to school and was directly sent abroad by his parents. Looking at the empty bed, my heart felt as if a piece had been hollowed out. Immediately afterwards, there was an uncontrollable anger. Why? Why did Lucas suddenly barge into my world and mess up my life? Now he can just pretend nothing happened and leave without a care. Then what about me? Why am I always the passive one? On the day I was discharged from the hospital, there was a message on my phone indicating a large sum of money had been deposited into my account. The message was from an unknown number. "Classmate Andrew, I'm sure you already know who I am. I apologize to you on behalf of my nephew for what happened to you. This kid came out as gay to his parents right after the college entrance examination. The old folks couldn't accept it for a while. They sent their son for electro-shock therapy and did something stupid. But Lucas has changed a lot since he started college. He used to be a quiet person. I know it's all thanks to you, Andrew. Lucas' parents specifically told me to compensate you. Hopefully Lucas hasn't caused any trouble in your life. Don't worry. I guarantee that Lucas will never appear in front of you again. I wish you a happy life. Goodbye." The phone fell onto the soft bed. With just a few light words, that person completely disappeared from my world. For a full 5 years. After graduation, I moved to a far-away city. I lived a routine life going between 2 places every day. My contact with my childhood friend James was sporadic. He once laughed at me and said, "You're just another fool who believes in love." I didn't refute him. I just couldn't help but feel a bit emotional when I recalled that unfinished relationship. I also felt it wasn't worth it for myself. "Lucas, you coward. You became a coward after getting involved with me. That was my first love. I've also thought about starting a new relationship. It just always feels like something is missing. Since we both know it well, there's no intention to continue. Then don't waste your own time and energy. The love of adults. Sometimes it's just a fleeting thought, sometimes it spans mountains and rivers. The rain in Tongqing never stops. It's always shrouded in a thin, misty rain throughout the 4 seasons. I'm holding an umbrella in one hand and carrying tonight's meals in the other, struggling to make my way through the crowded people towards home. The dim yellow streetlights refract a hazy glow through the raindrops. I realized something. Slowly getting up, I looked at the person sitting in front of the door. The bag was dripping rainwater. I raised my bag and threw it hard in that direction. "Lucas, get out of here." The tears were scalding, blurring the long sealed heart. Lucas didn't dodge. A small cut was made on his forehead by the briefcase. Scarlet tears glistened at the corners of the eyes, and the rain-soaked overcoat hung messily on the body. At the moment when our eyes met, Shunmu clasped the back of my head and kissed me recklessly. I went from resistance and entanglement to giving up struggling. It only took 1 second. The door opened, and then closed. The clothes were scattered all over the floor. After the intense moment, I closed my eyes and kicked the person beside me. My throat, which had been used for a long time, was parched. "Take the trash on the floor away before you leave." Hearing this, Lucas paused for a moment, then nonchalantly leaned down and kissed my forehead. "Okay, and what else, baby? What would you like to eat? I'll cook it for you when I come back." I didn't respond and slapped away Lucas' big hand that reached into the quilt to rub my waist. The man was only wearing boxer briefs, and his exposed skin was covered with scratch marks. He lowered his head, breathing heavily, and approached my neck, just like in the old days. "Sorry, Andrew, can you give me another chance? I rolled my eyes and turned over to sleep on my own. This guy really doesn't act like a decent person at all. He only let me go until now. On Saturday afternoon, in the room where the breathing was gentle, Lucas slowly turned over and got out of bed. He took out a ring from the overcoat pocket. This ring was made by someone on his behalf in the first year he returned to China. The size of the ring was the data he obtained by following her on the subway. He controlled his movements. He slowly put the ring on the ring finger of my left hand. The ring was pushed all the way to the bottom. I curled my fingers slightly. I still kept my eyes closed. A warm and firm hand was placed on the back of my hand. The love of adults. Sometimes it's just a fleeting thought. Sometimes it spans mountains and rivers.